Today we're going for a custom STI looking spoiler. Gonna try to make it aggressive. So first I'll need to remove this one, which is pretty simple. Just gotta disconnect that light. And then you got a couple 10mm nuts there and there, and she'll pop right off. So I'll go ahead and take that off and start making some templates, and we'll see what we come up with. Alright, got the spoiler off. I just cleaned it up real good. Kind of used the tape line to try to show this little this curve right here. It's a subtle line, but I will use it for the inside of the spoiler. But you'll see later. I drew a little shape on there just to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to see, or what I was thinking of. And then I made a cardboard template. So something like that. I'm gonna curve this up, I think. Make a little bit of a duckbill. Just this edge, and then this will I'll put a little crease in there so it comes up a little bit, and then another hard crease so that this will actually be a little bit more of an angle. And then we can do the uprights. So it should sit, I'm hoping that it sits kind of in line with this part after it gets folded up. And then the uprights, and I think I'm going to try to do like 2 cameras at the edge. I'm going to use 60-61 aluminum. And probably add some LEDs somewhere in this, but pretty aggressive. Wang gang. Alright, got the 60-61 out. Got my template traced out. I decided to go ahead and extend this little flare edge out. I could always trim some off later if it's too aggressive, but I'm going to use a jigsaw to cut this. And when doing something like that, and you get these hard turns in here, if you were to come up, you'd end up cutting more away than you need, because you can't make that kind of a turn with this. And then you'd end up having to come back and make another cut to clean it up and get your line. Or you can drill a hole. You select a bit that's bigger than your jigsaw blade, drill a hole at this corner here, so when you get up to it, you can pick up and turn your jig and carry on. And you wouldn't have to do that here because you got this edge, and you can come up and make a clean line. But it's just a little trick so that you don't have to make a second cut and waste a little bit of material. So we'll go ahead and get this cut out, and I'll actually make 2 of these. We'll put the couple little bends in here. Then we'll put it on the car and try to get the bolt holes lined up, or actually make some bolt holes, and see what it looks like. We got them bolted on. Definitely out a little farther than I thought, but I still like it. Oh my god, this is driving me crazy. Hold on, baby. Hold on. But yeah, now we can start on the uprights. And still waiting on a piece, so. But she's looking pretty dope. Let's start with the upright now. I'm basically just gonna make a template for the aluminum. I got a spike coming off of, I bought it off of Etsy. It's a 12-inch spike with an 1 3/4 diameter, and it'll taper down. Try to house the camera, so I'll have to do a little bit of milling and whatnot to get it to fit and run my wire and whatnot. But so I'm probably gonna try to keep it, like, make it come out to this edge up here so it'll taper back in some fashion. But I think ideally I'm going to try to have the edge of that spike sit at the top there, and then my uprights will run down at a little bit of a diagonal. So I should have those in a couple days, but I'll have the uprights probably cut and welded on by then. And we're making some good progress. Alright, I got a few lines drawn out. Since we know the spike, the aluminum spike for the camera is 12 inches long and 1 3/4 inches wide at the top. We can, I want this to sit maybe halfway up that, so I just divided it, and it'll have to be cut at an angle to ensure the camera is straight when it's sitting in there. And I might try to follow some of this curvature in here, like give it a little swoop maybe, or maybe come back in this way. But this is like the maximum amount of material I want on there, so anything less than that as far as the shapes can be achieved later on down the line. Well, just probably cut this cardboard out and kind of put it back on there so I can get a real visual. But sits about 12 inches high. It's pretty extreme, pretty aggressive. Kind of just looks good like this, honestly. Looks like some kind of Batmobile shit. But let me get this cut. We'll see what it looks like. Alright, got the upright cut out, and I just hot glued it in place just so I can get an idea on what it's going to look like. Alright, these are the spikes I got from a seller off of Etsy. I believe it was Apocalyptic Hardware. So what I'm going to do is probably drill out this hole for my camera, which I'm still waiting on the correct size drill bit from Amazon, but that should be here tomorrow. And I'll have to drill a hole for the wires to be able to get through. I might mill a little slot. And then I also didn't cut my taper for my spike because I was thinking maybe I'll leave a little tab out, so, and then mill in a little slot so it can sit in the slot, and then I'll weld it in. But I don't know exactly how I want to so I want it to, it's already pretty wide. Maybe something like that. I'll weld that edge in over here and sand it, and it would look like it was part of the spike. But pretty wide. I don't even have enough room to fit it in. I might add some swoopage after all. This just seems a little too straight. I think this is gonna have to be a 2 or 3 parter. So I'll call this part 1, and then I'll work on doing some mill work to these, and we'll start on part 2 shortly.